Hey guys, tonight, we're opening something that should have stayed sealed. You're in your apartment, alone. End of the week. The radiator hums its usual tune. The walls groan like they do when the building settles. You've lived here a while, long enough to memorize every creak in the floor, every scratch on the baseboard, every corner of every room. Except, tonight something is off. It's not loud, not dramatic, just a nudge. Your bookshelf, tall, oak-colored, stuffed with novels you'll never finish, and a plant that's barely clinging to life, has shifted. Not far, just about half an inch. But you didn't move it, and no one else has been here. You stare at it from across the room. It stands flush against the wall, like it always has, but not quite as flush. There's a new gap behind it, a dark line where before there was only pale plaster. You walk over, place your fingers along the edge, slide the shelf just a little more. The furniture screeches softly against the wood floor. The gap grows. You see it, a seam in the wall, vertical, narrow. A rectangle too straight and too deliberate to be a crack. It cuts from baseboard to crown molding with surgical precision. A door, but there's no knob, no keyhole, no hinges, just a faint outline, like it was always meant to be hidden or sealed. You knock. It sounds wrong, not solid, not hollow either, like knocking on something submerged. The air behind it feels warm, not room temperature warm, body warm, like someone standing just behind it. You step back, breathe, try to laugh, but you don't, because now that you're looking at it, you can't stop. Your eyes keep pulling back to that seam. You go to bed, but you don't sleep, because you feel it now. Not a presence, a pressure, like the wall is holding something in. Like it's waiting for you. Historians still argue whether sealed doors in ancient buildings were designed to keep invaders out, or something else in. Some Roman homes had false passages meant to confuse spirits. Others had rooms that disappeared entirely from maps. But whatever their purpose, one rule held true: if the door doesn't open, don't make it. The next day you try to ignore it. You open the blinds, wash dishes, fold laundry, ordinary things, but your bookshelf is still pulled away, still revealing that sliver of darkness, still whispering without sound, "Come back." You do. That night, with a flashlight and a screwdriver, you run your fingers along the seam. There's no lock, but near the top a slight give. You press and feel something click. The seam widens, not like a door swinging open, more like a deep breath. The edges stretch outward and curl until there's just enough space to see beyond. And what's beyond? A hallway, narrow, unlit, dustless, impossible. Because your apartment isn't big enough to contain what's in front of you. It runs deeper than your floor plan. Deeper than the building itself. And the air, it's warmer now, like breath. You shine your light. Nothing. The beam only goes 10 feet before fading completely. But the floor continues. Smooth concrete. No dust. No debris. Not abandoned. Just unused. For now, you don't go in. Not yet. You seal the door. Push the bookshelf back. Tell yourself it was an illusion, bad lighting, old construction, a trick of your tired mind. But later that night, when you finally fall asleep, you dream of the hallway, except in the dream you're already inside, and someone is closing the door behind you, from your side. The next morning you wake up with dust on your feet, not a lot. Just a faint gray smudge on your soles, but enough to know two things. You didn't wear shoes in the night. Your apartment doesn't have dust that color. You check your floors, clean. The bathroom tile, spotless. The hallway. You freeze. Your bookshelf is pulled out again. Not far, just a few inches, but more than yesterday. And the hidden door, wider, not fully open, just breathing. You don't remember getting up. You don't remember going near it, but the smudge on your feet says otherwise. And now you're wondering, did you go inside? Did someone else come out? You touch the door frame, warm again. Still no sound, still no light. But the space beyond it pulls, not with air, with something deeper, like the moment before a nightmare starts. You fetch your phone. Take a photo. The hallway appears perfectly black. No matter how many times you adjust the exposure, the light doesn't catch anything past the doorway. And when you look at the photo later, the hallway's longer, even though you didn't step inside. That night you dream again. You're standing at the threshold. You can see your apartment behind you, lamplight, table, coffee mug. But the hallway is brighter, not with light, with clarity, like the hallway is more real than your apartment. You reach out in the dream, touch the wall, and it pulses, not like stone, like skin. You wake up gasping, and the door is wide open. The bookshelf is all the way across the room. The air in your apartment is warmer. And from the hallway, you hear your own voice say, "Come here." You don't sleep after that. You go online, search forums, hidden rooms, secret doors. You find other stories, most fake, you're sure, but some hit too close. One thread talks about inside spaces, places that shouldn't exist, hallways that eat time, rooms that make you forget you entered. One user wrote, "If you find a door in your house that wasn't there before, do not open it. You'll lose track of where you end and where it begins." Their account is inactive now, deleted. Historians still argue whether ancient labyrinths were built to protect something hidden inside or to trap something that had already escaped. The Greeks told stories of the Minotaur. The Persians told of shifting corridors built to confuse jinn. But one thing is consistent across cultures: there's always a door. And it always starts with a dream. You install a deadbolt on the bookshelf, screw it into the floor, chain the shelf shut. You don't want to know what's behind that door. You really don't want to know what's behind you when it's open. But 2 nights later, you wake up standing in front of it, barefoot, the chain unhooked, the bolt unscrewed. You're holding a flashlight. It's already on. The door is open. And the hallway, it's waiting, silent, endless. You don't go inside, but you want to. You take one step, just one, and you hear something scurry across the concrete. Too fast, too wet, too many legs. You step back. You don't look in, but you see something else. A fingerprint on the inside of the wall, pressed into the concrete like it was still soft. It's yours, but it's older, deeper, larger, like your hand grew into it. Or like it's always been there, waiting for you to catch up. You stop sleeping. Not by choice, your body just refuses. Every time you close your eyes, you end up back in the hallway. In dreams, the concrete floor feels warmer. The walls breathe. And the deeper you go, the more it smells like rain on rust. Like a basement that remembers drowning. When you jolt awake, your feet are always on the floor. Sometimes facing the bookshelf, sometimes already inches from the threshold. Sometimes, past it, you begin to lose time. You notice the milk in your fridge goes bad 3 days early. Your phone says it's 2:12 p.m., but the shadows on your wall stretch like it's near dusk. You set alarms, one every hour, but you wake up to all of them dismissed. You don't remember touching your phone. You check your camera roll. There are photos you didn't take. 10, 12, 17 shots of the hallway. From just inside. Further in, angled up at the ceiling. One shows a shadow, your shadow. except your arms are too long. One evening, your doorbell rings. You don't get visitors. You peek through the peephole. No one. But there's a box on the floor. No label. No return address. You bring it in. Open it. Inside, a bundle of old envelopes, yellowed and brittle, bound with fraying red thread. Each envelope is addressed to you. Your name. Your handwriting. Dates from decades before you were born. The top one is open. Inside, a letter. You've been here before. The hallway remembers you. Every version of you. You check the others. More handwriting. More warnings. One letter says, "Don't let it know you're afraid. That's how it grows." Another, "You're not the first version. You're just the one who stayed longest." You burn the letters. The box stays. Won't catch fire. It sits in the tub for 3 hours under flame. When you check, the cardboard's blackened but whole. You leave it on the curb. The next morning, it's in your fridge, wrapped in butcher paper, no longer warm. You call someone, not a friend. You've stopped trusting your memory of who your friends are. You call your building manager, ask if the apartment's had renovations. Secret walls. Structural anomalies. She pauses. "I thought that unit was empty." You give your name. Silence. "Then that can't be right. Nobody's rented 3B since..." She trails off. You ask her to repeat. She says since 1994. You've been living there for 2 years. Or thought you had. Historians still argue whether time slips are hallucinations, dimensional overlap, or simply the mind collapsing under extreme stress. The earliest stories come from Roman times, soldiers claiming to spend minutes in places that hadn't yet been built. But the consistent detail, the presence of a corridor, and the feeling of being watched, even when alone. That night you leave the lights on, all of them, even the oven light. You set cameras, your phone, a backup battery pack. You wedge a chair under the bookshelf, chain it again, add a padlock. Then you sit in the living room drinking something warm, trying not to think about how the power flickered twice in the last hour. At 3:11 a.m., the lights go out, all of them. Silence. You stay still. No wind, no creak, no sound. Then you hear the chair dragging across the floor, not falling, dragging. Then the click of the chain unlatching, and the soft scrape of the padlock being set down gently on wood. Then, a voice, yours, but not. It speaks from the other side of the room. It says, "I found a way out. You just have to follow me." You don't move. You don't breathe. Because you know what? You'll see if you look. You already saw it in the photo. Arms too long, smile too wide, and eyes that know you better than you know yourself. You don't leave your apartment for 3 days. Not because you're trapped, because you're afraid if you open the door, it won't lead outside anymore. You test it once, unlock the deadbolt, turn the knob. Just a crack. Instead of your hallway, you see another hallway. Not the one behind the bookshelf. Not the one you recognize. This one is older. Brick walls. Dripping pipes. Yellow light from somewhere high above that flickers every 4 seconds like a tired heartbeat. You slam the door shut. Lock it again. You sit on the floor breathing through your shirt because the air smells wrong. Too metallic. Too familiar. Like the dream version of air. When you check again 10 minutes later, the real hallway is back. Door leads to your normal life again. Maybe. You don't test it further because your phone is buzzing. An unknown number. A voice. Voicemail. You don't answer, but you listen. It's your voice, not a message. Just breathing for 27 seconds. Then it whispers, "You followed me once already. You just forgot." That night, you move the bookshelf entirely. No more chains, no more barriers. You need to know. You need to see. The door is still there, still warm, still open. And the hallway behind it, different. It's tiled now. Black and white checkers like a hospital waiting room in a dream. You take one step in. It echoes, louder than it should. You say your name. The echo says it back, slightly delayed, like it's thinking about whether or not to answer. You walk further. The air changes behind you, heavier, warmer. You turn back, and there's no door, no apartment, just more hallway. You panic, sprint back the way you came, turn a corner, another. The hallway keeps twisting. You leave marks. Scratches with your key, a trail of pocket lint crumbs from your pocket. But when you double back, they're gone. You reach a dead end, a mirror, not old, not broken, just wrong, because the reflection is you, but not you. Your face, your clothes, but standing still, smiling faintly, not breathing in time with you. You raise a hand. It doesn't. Then it lifts the other hand. And behind you in the mirror, someone walks past. You spin around. Nothing. The hallway is empty. You look back. The mirror is gone. In its place, a metal door, etched into it. Only one of you leaves. Historians still argue whether mirrors were ever truly thought to trap souls, or if that was folklore grafted onto the fear of identity. Ancient Chinese tombs often included bronze mirrors, pointed inward, facing the deceased. Some said it was to reflect evil away. Others believed it kept the soul from wandering. But none of those mirrors ever answered back. You wake up in bed, soaked in sweat, except your sheets are dry. Your clock says 14 again. Your phone has a new photo in the gallery. You didn't take it. It shows your living room. You sitting on the couch, except you're asleep, and standing behind you, another you, blurred, like the camera shook when the picture was taken. You check the timestamp. It was taken 4 minutes before you woke up, and the face of the other you smeared, warped, as if the app couldn't focus on something that doesn't belong in this world. You delete the photo. It reappears. You reset your phone. It reappears. This time it has a new caption underneath, not typed, not part of the file, just there. We're remembering you now. You turn on all the lights, every bulb, every room, but the corners feel darker, like the hallway is leaking into your world now. Even your bathroom mirror has a hairline crack. When you brush your teeth, your reflection mouths something you didn't say. You try not to look anymore, but it's too late. You already followed yourself inside. You try to trick the hallway. That's your plan now. You move the mirror from the bathroom into the living room and face it toward the bookshelf, just barely angled enough to see the door when it's open. You figure maybe if you're not the one looking in, maybe if it's just the reflection, maybe it won't notice. That night, you sit cross-legged in front of the mirror flashlight, off lights dimmed low. The hallway opens slowly. It doesn't creak. It exhales. You watch it from the reflection only. It looks longer again. You count bricks along the floor. Last time it was 17 before the shadows swallowed them. Tonight, you count 23. The end still isn't visible. And then, someone walks past the far end. Just a silhouette, but unmistakably you. Same height, same build, same walk, like a film loop. It glances toward the mirror and stops. You freeze. In the reflection, your double slowly turns and smiles, but not at the mirror, at you. Then it lifts its hand and places it flat on the inside of the glass. You watch the palm press against the mirror. Yours, but not. The fingers are slightly off. Too narrow. Too segmented. Joints where there shouldn't be joints. And then you feel pressure on your back, like someone just pressed a hand between your shoulders, hard enough to make you flinch. You whip around, nothing. When you turn back to the mirror, the hallway's gone, and so is your reflection. For 3 seconds, the glass shows your apartment, but no you. Then you fade back in, like you were being overwritten. You cover the mirror again, but the feeling doesn't go away. For the rest of the night, you feel watched. Not from one place, from all directions at once. Every corner, every dark spot, even behind your eyelids, especially behind your eyelids. The next morning, your neighbor bangs on your door. You forgot they existed, honestly. She looks tired. "You okay?" she asks. "You've been, different." You try to smile. "What do you mean? I heard you walking last night." You nod. "Yeah, I was up late." "No," she says. "I heard you walking on the ceiling." She leaves before you can respond. You step back into your apartment. The light bulb in the hallway is shattered. Just that one. All the rest are fine. You check the ceiling. There are faint marks, smudges, footprints, facing the wrong way, as if something walked upside down, toward the bookshelf. You pull out the letters again. You don't remember keeping them, but they're there. The one on top has changed. New handwriting. Still yours. It reads, "You're not being haunted. You're being remembered." And every memory adds weight. You drop the letter. The hallway door opens by itself. Not fast, not forceful, just a slow, confident swing. You stare inside. It's not tiled anymore. It's carpeted now. Your carpet. Photos line the walls. Your childhood bedroom. Your high school graduation. That photo of you and your dog who died 10 years ago. But the faces are wrong, all of them, close but off, like someone tried to reconstruct your life from a dream they only half remembered. And at the end of the hallway, a mirror, the tall, ornate kind from an old house. Too large, too gold, and standing in front of it, you, but smiling too widely, and holding something behind your back. Historians still argue whether haunted mirrors represented access to other planes, or merely the fear of seeing too much of oneself. Some medieval texts describe bleeding glass mirrors that swallowed reflections and whispered them back in dreams. But always, always, they began with a door and an invitation. You shut the hallway door. This time you lock it from the inside. There's a small latch you've never seen before, but your hand knows exactly where to find it. When you pull the bookshelf back, the door's gone. The wall is smooth, no seam, no warmth, no sound. And for the first time in days, you breathe deeply. But then, from behind the mirror in your bedroom, a knock, 3 times. Then your voice, "It's safe now. You can let me out." You don't answer the knock. You sit on your bed, spine-stiff ears, straining for any other sound, but none comes. No footsteps, no whispers, just stillness so complete it presses against your skull. You wait for dawn. When the sun rises, you find that the light from the window doesn't reach your mirror. Like the corner itself has gone dim, caught in permanent dusk. You lift a blanket and cover it. But all day long you can feel something behind it. Not watching, waiting. That afternoon you decide to leave the apartment. Go for a walk. Touch grass. Feel like a person again. You get halfway down the block before someone calls your name. Not loudly, just enough to slice through the noise of the street. You turn. No one. Only an old man with a cane shuffling by. A child walking a too small dog. A girl wearing headphones. Then from behind you, closer this time, your name again. Whispered. You whirl around. A woman is watching you from across the street. She's wearing your coat. Your exact coat. Same fray at the left cuff, same stain under the pocket. She raises her hand and waves slowly, not greeting, summoning. You blink, and she's gone. People pass through the spot she stood. No one saw her but you. You head back home. Fast. Your door is ajar when you arrive. Not broken, not forced, just left that way. Inside, nothing's disturbed except the bookshelf. It's back against the wall, completely flush, like the door never existed. You try to move it. It won't budge. The floor underneath is smooth. No scratch marks, no grooves, no memory that it ever moved. You press your palm to the wall. It's cold now, unyielding. You feel relief, then confusion, then loss, like you've forgotten something important, like a name on the tip of your tongue. But the name is yours. That night you dream of your apartment, but the layout's different. The hall stretches too far. The walls slope inward. The kitchen leads directly into a bedroom that isn't yours. You find a door in the dream. It's open. At the far end, there's a mirror. And this time when you look into it, you see every version of yourself you've ever tried to forget. The one who told the lie. The one who walked away. The one who never said goodbye. All of them stare at you. None of them blink. Then they say in unison, "Come back." You wake up gasping. Your hand is wet. You look down. You're holding a key. Small. Old. Wrapped in red thread. It smells like wet dust and candle wax. You know without knowing it. Unlock something behind the wall. Something still there, even if you can't see it anymore. Historians still argue whether sacred thread used in ancient rituals across cultures was meant to protect what's inside, or warn outsiders to stay away. Red thread appears in Hindu ceremonies, Greek burial rites, and even early Christian relic bindings. But always its purpose was to mark something important, sacred, dangerous. You try to forget. For 3 days you ignore the key. Don't look at the mirror. Don't listen for knocks. Don't answer voicemails that come from your own number. You eat. You sleep restlessly. You play ambient noise just to drown out the silence. But the key starts moving. It's never where you left it. On the counter, then the floor, then your pocket. Once you wake up and it's resting on your chest. No thread, just a tag tied to it now. Your handwriting. Let me back in. You search for blueprints of the building. Call the city. Ask for renovation records. You drive down to the permit office. They pull out a dusty file. There was a hidden door, built in the 40s. It wasn't supposed to be there. The inspector noted space exceeds physical boundary of lot, filed under non-compliant anomaly. The original architect vanished before completing the project. His name, your last name, same spelling, same middle initial. There's no photo, only a signature at the bottom of the plans. You stare at it. It's your signature. Exactly. The swoop of the Y. The nervous, uneven slant. You didn't sign this. Not in this life. But maybe in another. Maybe you're not the tenant here. Maybe you're the echo. And the real you wants their apartment back. You sit on your floor lights off mirror. Covered the key resting in your palm like a tiny lead weight. It's warm again. Warmer than it should be. As though it just came from someone else's pocket. You try throwing it away. Out the window. It lands in a puddle, rolls once, and vanishes beneath the surface. You go back upstairs, lock your door, check the mirror, still covered. But that night, you find the key in your pillowcase, wrapped again in red thread. Except now the thread is braided with something pale hair, your own. You recognize the color, the length, and it's still warm. The dreams intensify, not one dream a night now. 3, 4, each more fragmented than the last. You're crawling through the hallway on all fours, scraping your palms on brick. You're screaming into an open room, and your voice comes back hoarse and older. You stand in a reflection that isn't copying your movements, and it's tapping furiously on its side of the glass mouth open, like it's trying to warn you. Then, the scariest dream of all. You're sitting in your own living room just like this. Nothing strange. No hallway. No mirror. Just a normal, quiet apartment. But you know it's not real, because on the coffee table the photos in your frames are empty, faces missing, even yours. And something in the kitchen is boiling, but there's no pot on the stove. You wake up choking, not gasping, choking. You cough and something clinks onto the floor. A second key, smaller, brass, rust-flaked, etched on the stem. You don't know what it unlocks, but the other key, the red thread key, you hold it in your left hand. It pulses. You can feel it throb in sync with your heartbeat. It wants to be used, so badly. Historians still argue whether keys found in burial sites were symbols of passage or protection. Viking graves, for instance, often buried women with iron keys, perhaps indicating control over the household or safe passage to the afterlife. But rarely were there two keys in a single grave, and never were they identical. You move the mirror again, this time to the center of your living room. You sit in front of it with both keys. You don't speak. You wait. Minutes pass. Then your reflection blinks, out of sync, once, twice. Then your reflection lifts its hand, and the fingers split, like branches, like wet rope. Raveling. You drop the red thread key. Your reflection smiles. It holds up a sign. Paper. Handwritten. Shaky strokes. It says, "You're the mirror." And then it pushes forward, not through the glass, but through the wall behind you. You feel the drywall give. Just a little, like someone's testing it from the other side. You turn fast. There's no bulge, no mark, only the sound of a slow breath exhaled into your ear. And when you look back, your reflection is gone. Just the room behind you now, but reversed and wrong. You don't speak for the rest of the day. Every sound feels like a risk. You unplug everything. Microwave, Wi-Fi, smart speakers. You toss your phone into the freezer, because maybe, just maybe, the signal is how it's getting in. You sit in silence, and the mirror stays still until 3 a.m. Then you hear something behind the glass. Not scratching, not knocking, typing, slow. Keys striking a rhythm you recognize, your old password. The one you haven't used in 10 years. The one no one else could know. You lift the sheet off the mirror, and there it is. Your face, but younger, smiling, holding a third key, and mouthing the word, "Welcome." You don't know why you're crying. Tears come without emotion, without warning. Just slow, steady trails down your cheeks as you stare at the version of yourself inside the mirror. The younger one. The one holding that third key with that awful, gentle smile, like a nurse waiting to take you somewhere you won't come back from. You mouth, "What do you want?" Your reflection blinks. Then the mouth moves. Trade. You shake your head. It lifts the key. This unlocks the part you forgot. Your voice trembles. Forgot what? And then the mirror starts whispering. Not aloud. Inside your mind, flooding it with images. Sounds, textures that don't belong to your life. A staircase spiraling downward for miles. A hand yours holding a lantern with a dying flame. A hallway much deeper than your apartment where your shadow walks in front of you, not behind. You fall to your knees. The weight of it is too much. You feel remembered, not by someone else, by the place, by the hallway, by the you who never left. Later, You try to write down what you saw. The pen refuses to work, not like it's out of ink, like the paper won't accept it. You run your fingers along the mirror. Still cool, still solid, but it gives slightly at the edges, like it's softening, like it's preparing. You grab the red thread key, fit it into the mirror's frame. It doesn't turn, but it hums, and behind the glass, you see the reflection nod, then open its mouth wide and wide and wider until its jaw cracks. And from deep inside you hear, "Don't forget to leave a light on for yourself." You fall asleep on the floor, too tired to think, too drained to fear. When you wake up, you're standing, but not in your apartment. You're in the hallway, the first one, cold brick underfoot. That familiar wet dust air curling into your nostrils. The mirror is gone. The door is gone. Only the long, narrow passage stretching ahead. Except this time it forks, left or right. The walls are etched with handprints. Yours, dozens of them, hundreds, some fresh, some fading, each at a different height, as though you've walked this passage many times as a child. As an adult is something else. Historians still argue whether mazes were built to challenge the body or contain the soul. Some monastic texts refer to soul runs, ritual walkings, of internal labyrinths meant to purge forgotten identities. In each account, one rule is repeated: never walk the same way twice. You walk left. You don't know why. It feels instinctive. The air thickens. Your footsteps echo after you take them, like the hallway is still deciding if they should exist. You hear a voice up ahead, faint, familiar, crying. You speed up. You turn a corner and freeze. You see yourself, a version of you sitting against the wall, hugging your knees, mumbling something you can't hear. Their eyes flick up to meet yours, bloodshot, tired, but hopeful. They whisper, "Is it time?" You shake your head. They nod, close their eyes, fade. Not like a ghost, like a memory wiped from a hard drive. And in their place, another key, iron, cold, etched with your birthday. You pocket it, and behind you the hallway shifts, literally shifts. Stone slides, clicks, folds, changing direction, sealing the path you just came from. You're not allowed to leave the same way you entered. That's the rule. You whisper to yourself, "Leave a light on." But the hallway doesn't allow light, not unless you bring it. And in the silence, something stirs just ahead. Not footsteps, breathing, heavy, close, and your name repeated like a prayer. You came back. You came back. You came back. You stop moving. You press your back to the cold wall and let the breath spill out of you as slowly as possible. The voice ahead is yours again, but distorted, like it's echoing through water slurred at the edges. It repeats your name a few more times, then stops. Silence again. You know that kind of silence by now. It's not emptiness, it's expectation. You take a cautious step forward, and another. The hallway narrows, just slightly. Enough to press your shoulders if you don't walk carefully. The air feels heavier, not with humidity, with memory, like you're wading through other versions of yourself. Every few feet the walls change. Here, smooth plaster as though once painted. A child's drawing scratched faintly into it. A sun, a stick figure, a dog. Their cracked tile, with something written in chalk. Turn back. You keep walking. You find a door. Unlike the others, this one is clearly meant to be a door. Oak frame, iron hinges, no handle, but the outline of a keyhole glints under your phone's flashlight. You try the red thread key. Nothing. You try the iron one, etched with your birthday. Click. It turns smoothly. The door swings open. What you see beyond it is impossible. It's your apartment, but perfect. Everything brighter. Sunlight through the window, even though it should be 3:21 a.m. The smell of fresh coffee. The faint sound of a kettle whistling from the kitchen. You step inside. The light warms your skin. You blink. For a second you think it's over. Then you notice it. On the table, your phone. Unlocked. Displaying a live photo of you standing in this room right now. You look up and in the kitchen someone is waiting. Someone who looks just like you. Too much like you. Down to the scar on your left elbow. The freckle under your eye. The same gray socks you wore yesterday. But they're smiling. Too broadly. The same smile from the mirror. And they say I was wondering how long it would take you. You back away. The apartment ripples. Walls begin to pulse. That same faint hum begins again. The one you thought was in your ears, but now you know comes from this place. You glance behind you. The door is gone, replaced by a mirror. You don't see your reflection. You see a hallway behind you. Not the one you came through. A new one. Longer. Darker. Lined with pictures you don't remember taking, but that look like memories. You've tried to forget. You turn back toward the copy of yourself. They're still smiling. Then they tilt their head. The smile vanishes. You don't belong in the memory, they say. Their voice is your voice, but flattened. Like audio stripped of all humanness. They reach behind them and pull something out of the drawer. A fourth key. Obsidian black. The teeth of it are jagged, irregular. It looks like it was carved from stone. Or bone. They toss it to you. You catch it without thinking. If you want to keep your name, they say you have to leave it behind. Then they vanish. No smoke, no scream, just gone. You stand in the middle of your not-quite apartment, holding a key that doesn't want to be held. It pulses colder than anything you've ever touched. You glance at the mirror, still showing that hallway. You walk toward it. Place your palm against the glass. This time, your hand sinks through, like slipping into cold water. You don't hesitate. You can't. Because suddenly your real apartment, your real life feels like the false memory. The hallway accepts you and closes behind. Historians still argue whether memory palaces were real places or mental constructs. Used by monks, scholars, even Roman senators. They were said to store knowledge spatially with ideas locked behind imagined doors and windows. But some accounts whisper of rooms that formed on their own, ones not created by the thinker, but discovered. You walk again. The obsidian key grows heavier in your pocket. The walls here aren't made of brick anymore. They're made of pages, layered paper fluttering with unseen wind. You read fragments as you pass, forgotten that you were the first, written out of your own ending. If you see yourself run, the hallway opens into a vast chamber, circular, dozens of doors, each with a mirror, each reflecting a different you, one old, one young, one wearing clothes you don't own, one missing a face, all staring, all waiting. Your hand finds the obsidian key, and one the reflections nod. Choose. You don't move. You don't blink. You stand in the center of the chamber stone floor, warm beneath your feet. Mirrors staring from every angle, and you try to figure out if this is a choice or a trick. Each mirror is a door. Each door is a version of you, and each version waits perfectly still behind the glass. Like actors frozen on cue, or passengers in an elevator that never arrived. The obsidian key in your hand feels wrong. Its weight seems to shift with your thoughts, lighter when you consider walking away, heavier when you picture unlocking something. And one mirror, it's fogged. The figure inside is still, but blurred, as if whoever's behind it is almost like you, but slightly off. Like a photo someone took of you from memory and got 90% right. You're drawn to that one, not out of curiosity, out of gravity. Your feet move before your brain catches up. You place your palm on the surface, cold, then warm. The glass softens. You raise the obsidian key, and the lock, silent until now, appears in the middle of the mirror, blinking into view like ink soaking into paper. You insert the key, turn. The mirror doesn't open like a door. It shatters, soundlessly. The glass breaks in reverse, falling inward, curling like petals, leaving an open space. Beyond it, a small candlelit room. Books line the walls, a desk, an old wooden chair, and seated in it, a version of you, older, but not just aged differently, as though time in this version's world moved sideways, not forward. The older you looks up and smiles. It's not sinister, it's tired. So, you made it back. You don't know what to say. You step through the broken mirror. Glass doesn't crunch underfoot. The floor is smooth. The older you gestures to the opposite chair. You sit, and you notice something. Their shadow doesn't match the candlelight. It stretches in the wrong direction, multiple directions, all at once. I've been keeping track, they say, of what you forget, what you lose when you leave, what you leave behind. You ask, who are you? They tilt their head. I told you, I'm you. Then they lean forward. And I'm tired of keeping your pieces. They hand you a book, blank pages. But your hand trembles as you touch it. You ask, what am I supposed to write? They smile. Your name. Simple, final. Your fingers move. You try to write it, but you forget the last letter. Then the first, then the whole thing. The pen drops. You gasp. Why can't I remember? The older you stands. Because memory is a contract, they say. And you broke it when you opened the wrong door. They reach for your shoulder. You flinch. They don't touch you. They point. Behind you the mirror reforms. But the figure inside isn't you anymore. It's watching you. Hands flat against the glass. Mouth open, silently screaming. And you realize it's the version of you that made it out. The one who stayed in the apartment, not here. There, the one who slept in your bed last night. A mirror swap, a replacement, and now you're the one behind the glass. Historians still argue whether the concept of mirror possession originated from folklore or fractured identity rituals. In some Eastern European texts, the mirror is less a portal and more a ledger recording debts. What passes through must pay. And if two reflections ever overlap, one must stay behind. The older version of you begins to fade, like steam off a kettle. You wrote yourself out, they say. Voice softer now. You opened too many doors, made too many trades. Now there's no version left that's fully you. You stand. The mirror flickers. The version of you on the other side screams soundlessly, then raises a hand, presses a note against the inside of the glass. It reads, "Don't believe what you become." You step back. The mirror stretches, beckons, demands. You whisper, "What happens if I walk back through?" The older you shrugs. Maybe you go home. Maybe you replace someone else. Maybe you wake up in a memory you've never had. You ask, "And if I don't?" They smile slowly. Then at least you'll know who you are. The obsidian key vanishes from your hand. The candle flickers once, and the mirror grows wide as a doorway again. You step forward, and behind you in the moment before the glass seals shut, the older you whispers, "Leave something behind, or it will come for everything." You step through. The mirror folds around you, not like glass, not like air, It's warm, viscous, like slipping into memory. You feel your heartbeat in reverse, like time unticking in your chest. And then you're standing in your apartment, but something's wrong. The light is too still. Not dim. Not bright. Paused. Your ceiling fan is motionless mid-spin. The curtains hang like they're painted. And you're not casting a shadow. You try to move. Your body obeys, but you feel like you're swimming through syrup. Everything echoes, but without sound. You look to the mirror. It's back on the wall. Whole again. You see your reflection, and it is you. But not right. The left eye doesn't blink. The jaw moves like it's trying to mimic yours. You lift your hand. It lifts its hand, a beat too late. You whisper, "Where am I?" And the mirror fogs, not from breath, from writing. 3 words, "Not yet home." You run to the bookshelf, pull it aside. The door is there, but it's sealed. No keyhole, no crack. You beat your fist against it. Wood thuds, but no vibration. This version of your world doesn't respond. The air is heavier now. Your phone is on the table. But when you pick it up, the screen is wrong. No icons, no apps, just one message blinking. From a contact labeled yourself. "I'm sorry, but one of us had to stay." You drop the phone. It rings once. A landline ring. You haven't had a landline in years. You follow the sound to the kitchen. The phone is there. Black. Corded, heavy, ringing. You pick it up, and your own voice says, "Do you remember the shoes? You don't speak Yiddish, but the voice continues. "They were wet when you woke up." Because I already left. You were always meant to trade places. I just beat you to it. A click. Silence. Then the dial tone stretches into a hiss, and your apartment goes dark. You stand in the hallway again. Not the long one. Your hallway. But the ceiling is closer now. Like the apartment is shrinking. You turn toward the mirror. Now it's empty. No reflection. No hallway. Only black. You touch it. It's warm and pulsing, like skin. You pull your hand back, and there's something in it. A note, written in crayon. Childlike. Familiar. "You came back for me. Thank you." Underneath the words, a drawing. Stick figures. 2 of them. One with X's for eyes. One holding a red thread. Historians still argue whether ancient dolls, especially those found buried with personal tokens, were vessels for the living or memorials for the lost. The red thread in such cases often represented a soul tether binding memory to physical form. One theory suggests whoever holds the thread chooses who forgets. You light every candle in the apartment, one by one, just to have something warm in the room. You sit down on the floor and place the note in front of you. The air feels tight, pressurized, like a storm is waiting just on the other side of the drywall. You open your notebook. The pages have started filling themselves. Words you don't remember writing. Moments you didn't live. Dates that haven't happened yet. One entry reads, "I came back wrong, and I think I'm still changing." Another, "He sleeps during the day. That's when I can write. That's when he's not watching." You close the notebook. The candles flicker in unison. You hear a noise from your bedroom. Soft, wet, like something stepping onto the floor after crawling from a bath. You don't want to look. You don't want to see who it is, because you already know. It's you, but not fully. And they're walking toward the mirror, dragging something heavy, maybe a bag, maybe a name. And in your pocket, the obsidian key, still warm, still pulsing, still waiting. You stay seated, because moving feels like giving it permission, whatever's coming down the hall. The version of you that walked in wet. It's not rushing. It's not lurking. It's strolling. Confident, like it knows you'll listen, and you will, because you're tired. Not just bone deep, not just haven't slept tired, your identity tired. Every time you say your own name, it feels like you're mispronouncing something ancient and cracked. The steps stop, right at the corner of the doorway. Then a voice, yours, soft, worn, like sandpaper across velvet. You were the first. That's why it hurts. You whisper the first what? The first to leave. The first to open the door. It steps into the candlelight. It's you, but blurred at the edges. The face flickers. Different bone structures cycling across the surface like static. Sometimes it looks like you did at 16. Sometimes 60. Sometimes it's a stranger wearing your voice. They drop the bag. It lands with a wet thump. You flinch. They crouch beside it and unzip it slowly. Inside, shoes. Hundreds of them. All yours. All from different times. Running shoes. Work boots. Dress shoes you haven't worn since that one wedding you never talk about. Sandals with the broken strap. All wet. Dripping. The air fills with the smell of mildew leather and river silt. Every time one of us runs, we leave a pair behind. They look at you now. Still crouched. You left first. That makes you the key. You say nothing, but your hand curls protectively over the obsidian key in your pocket. They nod. It doesn't open a door. It closes the loop. You stand, slowly. They don't stop you. They just tilt their head and add almost casually, you know what you have to do, don't you? You don't. But your body does. It's moving before your mind catches up. Back to the mirror. The glass is black again. No reflection. No hallway. Just absence. You raise the key. It hovers just over the surface. But the key doesn't fit into anything. No lock. No socket. Instead, the surface of the mirror absorbs it. Like ink dropped into water, the blackness ripples outward till the mirror turns white, pure, featureless. And from within it, you see a face. Not yours, not anymore. Someone new. A child. Small. Pale. Terrified. They mouth, please. You step back. The flickering you, the one with the shoes, smiles again. That's the version who hasn't left yet. You shake your head. I don't want to trade with a kid. It's not a trade. It's a return. You ask, return what? They point to your chest. You look down and realize you're missing something. Something important. A thread. It used to be red. Now it's gray. Frayed. Barely holding. You pull at it gently. The memory that hits you almost knocks you off your feet. You, at 5. Staring into a bathroom mirror, asking who was looking back, and waiting for them to blink first. Historians still argue whether ancient tales of changelings and doppelgangers were coping mechanisms for identity loss or metaphors for generational trauma. But some believe they were maps, warnings, that reflections weren't just mimicries, but doors. And doors, once opened, demand their debt be paid. You pull the thread from your chest. It comes loose too easily, and when it does, you feel lighter and colder. You look at the mirror again. The child is still there, still pleading, still hoping. And the version of you with the bag of shoes is gone. The shoes remain, all lined up like silent judges. You press the thread to the glass. It sticks, and you whisper, I hope you never walk away. The glass shatters silently once more, and the shoes, they vanish. The hallway returns. You step through and find yourself back in your apartment, but different again. The fan spins lazily. The air is warmer, and you cast a shadow, a real one. You take a deep breath. The mirror is whole again. Your face is in it, blinking, with you, not behind you, not distorted, just you. But still, you tape a note beside it, scrawled in Sharpie. Don't open strange doors, especially the ones you didn't notice yesterday. You don't leave your apartment for 2 days. You sleep on the floor away from the bed, where you can watch the mirror. You drink from the tap, because the fridge light flickers when you open it, and something about that makes you feel watched. The notebook fills itself again overnight. When you wake, a new page reads, "Staying still is how it gets in." Another line smaller, "Movement is memory." You start pacing your apartment every hour, not because it helps, but because the silence makes you feel like the rooms are breathing when you're not. You open your phone. Your photos are gone, replaced with a single image, your front door taken from the inside. You didn't take it, and under it, one word, "soon." Later that evening, you hear tapping, not knocking, not scratching, tapping, rhythmic, familiar, Morse code. You record the pattern and run it through an app. Translation, "We remember." You go to the mirror. It's empty again. But behind the emptiness, you see movement. Not a person, a crowd. All versions of you. Some limping, some eyeless, some smiling too wide, some sobbing with mouths sewn shut. They're lined up behind the glass, shoulder to shoulder, watching. They don't knock. They don't speak. They just wait. Historians still argue whether ancient ceremonial mirrors were meant for reflection summoning or surveillance. In many cultures, it was taboo to sleep facing a mirror, believing the soul might wander and return confused, or not return at all. Modern anthropology suggests the origin of that fear may stem from common sleep paralysis, hallucinations involving mirrors. Others suspect it's because sometimes the reflection moves first. You turn the mirror to face the wall, just for a while. You tape blankets over it, seal the edges, try to convince yourself that will help. Then you smell it again. The mud, river water, algae, damp rope, the scent of everything you left behind. It's in your vents now. You grab the obsidian key and sleep with it in your hand. It pulses every few minutes like a tiny heartbeat. You dream of the hallway again. Only now it's collapsing behind you with every step forward, bricks falling into silence, doors vanishing before you can try them. You run. You scream, but the air swallows the sound. You trip, fall into your bed, awake, but not your bed. Same layout, same sheets, but the fabric's wrong. Too stiff, too new. The thread count is wrong. Your fingers know. You get up. Check the kitchen. The fridge is humming. But inside, all the labels are blank. Every package, every bottle, just plain white. You open the spice cabinet. Only salt. Dozens of jars of salt. You open the closet. The only clothes are the ones you wore during each key event. The wet jeans, the red sweater from your 7th birthday, the shoes you burned after college, all returned, all washed. You whisper, "What version is this?" No one answers until the mirror hums again. You remove the blanket. This time it doesn't resist. The mirror shows a library, endless, bookcases that stretch too tall, a desk in the middle. Someone is writing. You can't see their face, but they're humming. A lullaby you barely remember. You lean in. The hum stops. The figure turns its head and mouths. You're catching up. Then the mirror flashes white, and you're sitting at the desk. Pen in hand, book in front of you. Its title, My Return. You turn the first page, and it's all ready. Giza filled in. Every word, your story. Even this moment, even this sentence, and just beneath your hands, a final line scrawled in black ink. Endings are choices, so choose carefully. You don't remember tomorrow's chewing to write, but the pen is warm in your hand. The book is heavy leather bound, thick with pages that rustle like dry leaves. You flip forward. Every single moment of your life, down to the color of your breath in winter, is written here. Even things you don't remember living. You try tearing a page out. It won't budge. You try writing something untrue. I flew to the moon last week. The ink seeps into the paper, then disappears. The words fade to nothing. And instead, the correct memory rewrites itself beneath your hand. I hid under my bed at 13 when the lights flickered. You whisper, "Am I writing my future or recording my past?" A voice answers from the other side of the library. Yes. You turn. There's no one there. But the desk is different now. Larger. Dustier. On it lies a second book. This one is sealed shut with a wax emblem, an Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail. You touch it. It vibrates. Just once. You lift the cover. Inside, not words, drawings of you. Hundreds, maybe thousands. Each version of you caught mid-action, opening a door, running down a hallway, crying in a bathroom, writing at a desk. One shows you asleep, with something watching from under the bed. You close the book. Hard. Your breath fogs in the still air. Finally fogs. And that scares you more than anything, because you haven't been able to do that since the bridge. You're somewhere real again, or close to it. You stand up. The books rearrange behind you. The shelves groan, and the floor tilts not enough to throw you, just enough to suggest movement. Like the entire library is on the slow drifting barge. You move toward a far wall. There's no exit, but something's drawn there. A door frame painted in fine brush, strokes like a medieval mural. Inside it, written in elegant calligraphy, "This is your last chance to forget." A question forms in your throat. Forget what? But you already know. Historians still argue whether ritual forgetting was a religious rite or a survival tactic. Ancient texts from Mesopotamia reference the blessed loss, a ceremonial drowning of names to free the mind. In rare cases, it's suggested that some identities were never meant to be remembered at all. You touch the painted door. It pulses, then softens, becomes real beneath your fingers. The wood is warm. Breathing. You open it. Inside your childhood bedroom. Exact. Down to the crooked poster, the chipped dresser knob, the squeak in the third floorboard. And in the bed, you, small. 8, maybe 9, sleeping, murmuring softly. You whisper your name. A test. The child turns, still sleeping, still unaware. You know the rules. Don't wake them. Don't speak too loudly. But they open their eyes anyway. And they see you. And they know. Tears rise in their eyes, not from fear. From recognition. You kneel by the bed. They reach under their pillow, pull out a note. It's the same one. You came back for me. Thank you. You whisper. What do I do now? They shake their head. That's not how this works. And they vanish, not fade, not dissolve, just gone. And the room begins to fill with water. Fast, cold, salted. Not from any visible source. It simply pours upward from the carpet, as though the entire floor has become ocean. You rise and run, heart pounding, the library now flooding too. Books float past, pages bloating. The drawings smear. You reach the hallway. Find the mirror. Still there. Still dark. No reflection. But now, a door. With your name on it. Carved. Worn. Real. And beside it, the final version of yourself. Quiet. Still. Their hands folded. A key around their neck. They take it off, place it in your hand, smile sadly, and whisper, "This time don't forget to close it." The key is old, not the obsidian one, not cold, not heavy. This one is wooden, carved from something familiar. When you hold it to your nose, it smells faintly of cedar and riverbank. You know this key. You made it once. In a dream you don't remember. You turn to the door. Your name is carved deep, first name, middle, last. No mistakes. No smudging. Just you. It fits perfectly. You pause, because this feels like the end. And endings ask for something. You look down. Your shoes are wet again. Same ones from the bridge. The ones you swore you left behind. You step forward. The wood under your feet creaks in a rhythm that sounds almost like your heartbeat. You unlock the door. It swings inward. No hallway. No library. Just a field. Wide, soft, dark with morning dew. The sky is pre-dawn blue, stitched with stars that look hand-drawn. Wind moves through the grass like a hush. It's peaceful. But there's one more thing in the field. A mirror freestanding. Oval, ornate. Its glass ripples like moonlit water. You walk to it. Your reflection, depth is waiting. But this time, it waves and smiles and matches you. Exactly. You raise your hand. It does too. No delay. No flicker. For the first time since that night on the bridge. It's really you. And you say your name. Out loud. It feels strange. Like a stone lifted off your chest. The mirror blinks once. Then opens. Like a curtain parting. And you step through. Back into your apartment. Still yours. Still strange but whole. And on your table, the obsidian key. Cracked now. Dead. You leave it there. You go to bed. And you sleep. You sleep like you haven't in years. You don't dream. You don't dream of hallways. Or mirrors. Or versions of yourself smiling too wide. Just water. Flowing quietly. Forward. Wind down. Words. Now everything is quiet. No more keys in your pocket. No more tapping at the walls. Just your breathing slow and even. Let it settle. The floor beneath you is steady. Real. Cool against your heels. Your name is your own again. You can say it softly, and it won't echo in someone else's voice. That door, the one you shouldn't have opened, is closed now. Really closed. You turned the key. You walked through. And you came back with something no mirror can take. Stillness. Let your hands rest now. Let your shoulders sink. The version of you who waited in the dark, who ran barefoot through memory and echo, who forgot who they were, and came out the other side. They're safe now. You're safe now. That's the important thing. The hallway doesn't stretch anymore. The reflection doesn't move first. You don't smell the river. And even if you do, it's far away. Sleep is allowed here. No watchers behind the glass. No names whispered in your voice. No more trades. Close your eyes. Count backward from 10, not in numbers, but in breaths. Each one softer, each one gentler. Nothing's chasing you anymore. The story's over. And you're home. Good night.